This is the Following the Joy podcast, a place to talk about being the best version of yourself, following your heart, making the changes needed, and having fun on this adventure we call life. So if that sounds like your sort of thing, then I invite you to stick around. I'm your host, Debbie Westwell, and this is Following the Joy.
Hello. So I thought I'd share with you why choose a podcast and why now. This year has been like a massive year for me of change. I've quit my corporate job. I have learned Reiki. I wrote down earlier on this year that I was literally going to have alternative therapies, learn alternative therapies and give alternative therapies. I've also delved deep into like the laws of attraction, manifestation. I'm basically on a mission to try and make my life as good as I could possibly get it and follow happiness and not put up with things that I no longer like. And this obviously came from, I've been thinking about it for years, realistically, bits and pieces, but never fully engaging and going, right, okay, this is it, let's do it. And so what I've ended up doing is this year, I've realised that actually, do you know what? My priorities have changed. My family is important. What I actually am dreaming for is the ability to be able to work remotely from anywhere in the world, be that going to visit a friend at the other side of the world and spending a month there, but still being, able to get some form of income in, to being able to sit at the side of the bed of somebody who I love, who's maybe not very well. And what I found was that my corporate job didn't like it when I asked if I could do that. They didn't like to be asked. They didn't like to give the flexibility. And so then I was like, okay, so there's got to be another way out of there, because I'm looking around and thinking so many other people do this. So many other people manage their own lives and do that. And I also get, do you know what? You might be listening to this thinking, oh God, no, absolutely not. I don't want to be working for myself, or, I don't have the time to do that, or I actually quite like going into work. And do you know what? Whatever works for you, that is perfectly fine. For me, I've always quite fancied having my own business and working for myself, because I kind of want that autonomy and freedom. Although when I question it, that autonomy and freedom, it's like, what does it bring to you? Because actually, in your own job or in your own business, you aren't ever free, because you wake up in the middle of the night thinking of creative ideas or social media posts or whatever. So it's not necessarily freedom, which is what I thought I wanted. It's the freedom to manage my own diary. So I'm kind of like adding an addendum onto that, if that makes sense. And it's like, what does that give me? So that actually gives me the ability to spend time with my loved ones, my friends, my family when I want to adjust my working schedule so I can prioritise those in my life and myself. And then interestingly, I kind of started thinking, well, how can I apply that to my life now? And I've had some amazing shifts this year, which I'm sure I'll share with you in and amongst these podcast episodes. But I kind of was coming back to the reason why podcasts and why now. So I kind of feel like, do you know what? If this isn't for you, then that's fine. We all learn at different rates, and we all benefit from the wisdom of certain people, and not everybody is your person. So if what comes up in these episodes helps you, that's awesome. And please reach out to me if you've got any questions or anything like that. But if I'm not your person, that is okay. But I would still question, are you happy? Are you following your joy? And then maybe find something or somebody that you resonate with, that be that a martial art, be that a meditation practice, be that breath work, be that an actual coach, whatever it is. Go out and find your joy. And so why podcasting? Bizarrely, I think I was chatting to a friend this year has been very much about me, right? How can I have additional income? What can I do? What feels fun? And kind of, how does my life flow? And interestingly, I must have been talking about it with a friend about podcasts, because let's face it, we all know that even though social media says it doesn't listen into your conversations, you 100% get adverts about things that you've only spoken about and you've never actually Googled. So anyway, an advert popped up on my social media for Cathy Heller to do this, podcast boot camp. And I was like, okay, so I know that with this comes this 3-day boot camp, and then there'll be, she'll be selling like a course, which is fine. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to the 3-day boot camp. In my brain, fully thinking, probably won't do the full paid learning thing. And I've done this many, many times on many different things, kind of just learning what I can and going, oh, is this interesting or not? This year I have engaged more and actually been on more courses and development work and paid for coaching and that kind of thing. But it's just, I was literally following Kismet, or, I don't believe in coincidences. So I was thinking about, it was literally only the tiniest thought, like a little, like you've slightly left your tap running and you can vaguely hear the water flowing, if that kind of makes sense. That kind of trickle of, maybe I should do a podcast. I really don't know what kind of lights me up. And I was like fully into like a business development kind of course at the time that Cathy's ad came up. And you know what? I did it. And I did the 3-day course. It was awesome. And she's just such a wonderful human. I've never even heard of her before. So I thought, I should probably listen to some of her podcasts and stuff. So she's got the Cathy Heller podcast out. So I definitely recommend that you listen to some of those episodes. But despite the fact, technically you can learn from anybody. I could have learned podcasting from anybody. But when I started with Cathy, I was like, okay, yeah, this could be for me. I like talking. I like talking to people, so I could do solos and I could do interviews. This makes sense. I like asking people questions and getting down deep and dirty into their lives and understanding how they tick. And I've always been like that. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then it's like overwhelm of tech. Like, how do I edit this? How do I add? What's an intro? What's an outro? What am I doing? And one thing I've learned is obviously just do it messy. Just get it out there and do it messy. So hopefully as these move along, you will find that I'm getting a little bit more learned about all of the different tech, and I'm doing different things. But for now, do you know what? We're just doing it messy. I'm putting it out there. And the most enjoyment I've got out of this course has been talking to the other people who are on this course. It is such a beautiful group of just genuine souls who want you to soar and survive and thrive and are supportive to you. And I can't even tell you how much that means, because sometimes your friends and family don't always understand, like, I'm going to go and do this, and they're like, oh, and especially with me, I'm always doing something. All of my friends will tell you I am always doing something. I am never still. I've normally got 3 or 4 projects on the go. I just think it's part of who I am, and I am trying to learn to put things down sometimes and just take a break. But having that unconditional support from somebody who's going through the same journey as you is amazing. And so, so here we are. Fast forward from, I don't know when it was, maybe June, July time. So fast forward like a few months. We're now in November, and I'm getting ready to launch this podcast. I'm literally sat on my bed recording this, as we're saying, we're doing it messy, and I'm talking into my phone. So this is kind of where it started. But what I'm hoping to do is really bring out some people who are literally just following the joy. Now, I originally started with a podcast that was called Dreaming to Being, and about solo travel and the confidence to just start again. Because I love solo travel and I really wanted to kind of fit that in. And then I think in a moment of clarity, I was like, oh no, following the joy sounds much better. I want to do that. So I'd be interested for you to reach out to me at Debbie Westwell on Instagram and just message me and let me know, do you want like episodes on travel and stuff? Would solo travel interest you? Because that's my joy, basically. I know it's not always everybody else's. Or should I just continue down this? I mean, and the good thing about, and one thing I've learned from Kathy, is you can pivot at any time. So it could be that this changes in the future at some point. And do you know what? I'm excited just to see how it comes out and for putting it out there. So, yeah. And I just want you to also know that, you know, you can change things. You can change your job. You can pivot on the idea of a podcast. You can, you know, change where you want to go on a holiday. You can get out of a relationship if you don't want to be in it. You can make all of those things better if you don't actually want to change them. There's many, many ways, and hopefully, like some of the guest speakers that I will have who are just amazing souls, will, you know, show you that you can do something a little bit different. You don't have to do the same as everybody else. You don't have to fit those normal, like, boxes that we put ourselves into, and I think you can just let your wings spread and you can just soar. And I am just massive on, like, putting everybody into a good positive mindset, dealing with whatever's going on, so it doesn't affect us later on in life, but also just going after what we want, because life is just too short. So that is essentially how I got started to do a podcast. Let's see how it unfolds, and I can't wait to hear your feedback. So thank you very much for listening. And if you think of any of these episodes, if you think of one person that would benefit from it, then please share them with them. And if you are liking what I'm talking about, then please write a positive review for me, because it helps share what I'm doing, and it also kind of helps me develop this podcast. And I would love to hear your feedback. But for now, take care, and I will be coming into your ears soon. I mean, I don't even know whether that's right. I will speak to you soon.